Hey, it's just so Trish, and the slacker I am. It's time to get a sewing project done. And I'm doing the sewing project for the 4-H since I'm teaching 4-H how to sew. What this is a little coaster. Isn't it adorable? This is nothing but my scraps. I did have some top stitch issues that I'm going to go back later on. Actually, I'm going to wait till after the class so I can talk about like why that happened to them. But it was because my bobbin, it was because it was the feed dog wasn't catching it. But you'll see that when it happens. So I made this cute little coaster. It's simply out of scraps. It's really easy to use, and it's a wonderful, wonderful beginning sewing project, and it's very forgiving. But is that not adorable? Anyways, here we go. All right, to do this project is pretty darn easy. This is a great one for using up all your scrap. I've gone ahead, because I'm teaching this tonight at the 4-H, I've cut a huge stack of 4.5 by 4.5. In order to make these, you're gonna need 6 4.5 squares per coaster. And you're gonna need 1 interfacing at 4" by 4". So interfacing, if you don't know, stabilizes the fabric. So this is iron on, and the side that is rough is what goes against the fabric, and you want it on the wrong side of the fabric, and then you iron it on. Need 1 of these. So to make this one, I'm doing 2 squares of red, 2 squares of the hearts, 2 squares of the love, and then 1 interfacing. So what I need to think about is what is going to be my sandwich. So this is the part, like one side you'll see is the back and one side you're not going to see. And then I will go ahead and I will fold my other 4 squares in half. So I'm going to iron those. So here, this is just ironing. So the first step, I'm going to take my center piece and I'm going to put my piece here. And my iron's a little too hot, so it did run up the sides. So I'll flip it over and finish ironing it. And then you'll notice now it's, well, you can't really tell. So there's my 1 piece. All right, on these pieces, I am ironing them in half, the wrong side to the wrong side. So these make great gifts. These are good. You can even craft fair these little coasters, you know, set of 4. And it's just a nice way to raid your stash of extra fabric or gifted fabric. A lot of times people gift you fabric. You can use them as thank you gifts, but they are really nice and they're very forgiving to do. Okay. So simple as that. I just folded it over and now I need to assemble. So I'm going to sandwich in. And then I'm going to actually leave the side with the interfacing. I'm going to put that inside. And I'm going to set this piece here. This piece. And you're just overlaying them. So what's really nice is this is what it's going to look like. And then I'm just going to pin them to stay secure. And all I'm required to do is sew along the edge. I'm just going to sew along the edge. You don't have to leave an opening at all. So this one is, see, it's not quite there. So I need to make sure I bring this over. Now, if you don't have straight edges, this is a great beginner's one because it will be fine. All right, so now I'm going to stitch it along here. I still haven't got my replacement part, so I am using my Frankenstein looking sewing machine, but it sews just the same. This is my favorite sewing machine. I will get a piece for that eventually. All right, I'm setting my settings. So I'm gonna plop it on the ground if I'm not careful. So I'm going to sew it on number 3 setting. So that's just so my stitch is in the middle. I'm going to set my stitch length to 3, and there we go. Okay. And now I'm going to run it just along the presser foot. So here is my presser foot, and then I'm going to sew along the edge here all the way around. And then I just sew off the end, and then alright, so here I go. I'm going to sew off the end. So when I come off the fabric, I just lift my presser foot up and then turn it around and begin again. Here again. Alright, I forgot the cutter's right here, right there. Alright, so the next step I need to do is just cut my corners out here. So here are my scissors, and all I'm doing is cutting. I'm not coming along the edge, but I'm just cutting out this corner, and this is so that it will lay right. I don't want to cut into the stitch, otherwise it'll show, but I'm taking out the bulk of this fabric when it gets turned in. Alright, so now all I do is come in here in the middle and I fold it inside out. And I press those corners really, really good. So, again, really good. And I'm pulling it inside out. Can you hear my kids fighting? My kids are so fighting. So I'm just pulling it inside out, pulling each one of those corners. I got a kid staring at me. She's having a rough day. Alright. So it's not really, oh, that one didn't pull over. Just pop that one over. Both layers. Alright, and then I want to take my scissors and push it out. So I'm just pushing that corner in so that I have a nice corner. Like that. Just forcing that corner nice and tight. Alright, and that's what your coaster is going to look like. Now you can leave it like this, but I suggest we're going to iron this. I'm going to go ahead and iron this flat. Okay, so I pressed it really good. I'm going to be done that. I'm going to come in. I'm actually this time going to put a nice little stitch right here. It'll look good in red, but I'm too lazy to change my thread. And I'm not sure if I have it. So I'm going to come back here to my thread settings, and I'm actually going to put this at a 4.5 width apart. And I'm going to move, I'm moving my needle closer to the edge. And this is just a top stitch. A top stitch isn't about holding your fabric. It's just kind of more of a decorative edge. And I'm starting in the middle because I don't want to start in the corner. I want my thread, I want it to finish here. So I'm going back one stitch. Stop. There we go. Oh, it's too thick. It's not grabbing it. So I gotta move it just a hair. Oh, did it again. So I'm gonna move it just a little bit. It's just so thick, it doesn't want to, it can't grip. Alright, there we go. And to prevent it from being so thick, all I would have had to have done was cut more of that corner out. Uh-oh. Something doesn't sound right. I was catching my bobbin. So sometimes that happens. Alright, so I caught my bobbin. So this is what happened when it was getting caught there. So all I need to do is come back out and take it. But if it's your first sewing project, you can get away with it. Nifty little cup holder. My little coaster. There you go. So I hope you like this. It's a quick little tutorial. I hope it went smoothly for you, and I hope you have an easy time duplicating it. If you make any of these, or your kids make them, because I'm teaching the kids to make these, and I like it because it's a quick finished project, and really you could be doing this with all of your scraps all the times of the year and having a lot of fun with them. If you make some, go ahead and Instagram them and tag me in it at JustSewTrish so I can see your projects. I like seeing it when you make things from my videos. So I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.